Welcome in, everyone, to the Dogs Down South podcast. I'm your host, Ted Turner. I'm here with my man, Adam Fisher. It is game week, another game week. We are here tonight previewing Georgia, Ole Miss. Going to catch up on a little. I hadn't been with Fish since the Auburn game, so I'm sure we're going to catch up a little bit. Even though if you go back and grab it, it's up right now. Overreaction, the Overreaction podcast from Auburn is up right now. But I want to hear some insight from Fish. First off, Fish, how are you tonight, man?
Good, man. Good, man. I was missing the show, so I'm glad it all worked out and I was able to hop on tonight.
Yeah, man, it's been when you try to go travel and see the dogs live, man, it's like I'm not a pro podcaster, but I need a film crew to follow around, right? So we can
I
get some
know,
of these
right?
lives. And I need some of that internet access that everybody has, where 92,000 people are trying to get on to the
That's right.
same internet, and I can't do it. And so, but man, it's really good to
Impossible.
be here. Fish, want to hop right in. Real quick, we're live tonight on TikTok. Welcome in, TikTok viewers. Good to see you all. I'm going to do my best to try and hop in over here when I can and get some questions, things of that nature. Also live right now on YouTube, Dogs Down South. Make sure you go drop a like and follow on YouTube, as well as Facebook, Dogs Down South. Fish, obviously, I spoke a lot on the Overreaction show from Georgia Auburn, but I want to hear it from you, man. Give me your reaction to Georgia Auburn. And I'm sure a lot of people have different opinions about the game, but give me yours.
Oh my lord.
They were losing a little
It's a
connection. There you are. There you
it
are.
was a tale of two halves. Like,
Okay.
the first half was all Auburn until the last 2 minutes, which lasted 39 actual minutes, which is nuts. That might be a record.
Right.
And the second half was just, it says a lot, I think, about Hugh Freeze and his ability to keep their heads in the game and not let them get down and beat themselves up and, just take themselves mentally away from the game, because that's exactly what happened. Like, they didn't come out with the same energy, or fire that they did, and it nobody talks about it enough, but man, having a bye week before you play somebody really, really, really helps. And it's a disadvantage for the other team if they haven't had a bye week before they play. And these big games that we're playing, like Alabama and Auburn and Texas also has a bye week before we play them. That's an extreme disadvantage.
Yeah.
But nobody's talking about that. And, I was listening to one of my radio guys today. I've listened to him every day. And he was saying, why is Georgia, why is this our trend this year? Because, why are we getting off to such a slow start, and all these teams, we're just letting them get ahead of us. And, they're talking about this and that, but I never hear anybody say these teams have bye weeks before us,
Right.
and that doesn't get talked about enough. I don't think people are taking that into consideration enough. I don't know if they're not thinking about it, and I don't know if I'm just wrong, but it's a common denominator. Like, it's, these past few games where that has actually happened. Kentucky didn't get a bye before they played us, and they came out and we destroyed them. Total domination, 4 quarters.
Right.
Bama had a bye week, they jumped all over us.
Right.
Auburn had a bye week, jumped all over us. You
Yeah.
know,
Guess who has a bye week in a couple of weeks? Texas before us.
I know. And Florida, I think, has a bye week before they play us too, which whoever Billy Napier's replacement is, because he's getting fired after they lose to Mississippi State this weekend. So there's my pick. But dude, like, just in that whole debacle at the end, I'm sitting here with an diehard Auburn fan while I'm watching it, and you were with 90,000 Auburn fans watching it, and I wanted to ask you what the
Yeah.
vibe was in the stadium because you were
Yeah.
actually there, and
Yeah.
I mean, they'd have to just there. I don't know how much booing was going on around you.
Hey, man. So I said this last night on the Overreaction show. I, I want to tell fans, like, you got to understand, and we talked about it right before we came on Fish. There's a lot of disgruntled fans. We're blaming Schumann, we're blaming Bobo, we're just playing the blame game, man. Listen,
Hmm.
Kirby said it himself. He said, "Be careful your expectations for not only the SEC but college football in general going forward. That was said last year, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because we were talking about it, and I was talking about how the Falcons, man. I watched them a little bit the other night play Buffalo, and it was a Falcons team that, don't get me wrong, like they played the Bucks really well. I mean, they've had spurts of greatness this year, but like
Mhm.
in my opinion, Buffalo's a team that could possibly vie for the Super Bowl this year.
Every year, every
Yeah,
year.
and played really well against them. Had some breakout, and Bijan Robinson had a really great game. And like that was kind of like a where's this been all week, all year.
Yeah.
So what I would say was, as I was sitting in there, was 92,000 plus. Um, you know, I got there probably about 2 o'clock Eastern, which was 1 o'clock,
Mhm.
Central.
Yeah.
And man, fans are everywhere, man. And I'm talking tailgates, enough beer to sink the state of Alabama. I love the Auburn atmosphere. There's some really hospitable people there. Shout out Tiger Prowler. I did it the other night. A really great tailgate. Who's won tailgate of the week? Who was so gracious to us. And I mean, it's right there at Tiger Walk. And we
Yeah.
walked in, but then we sat down, and we were in the Georgia corner, kind of, which I didn't know when I was getting the tickets that I would be. And
Mhm.
there were some Auburn fans in front. I had some Georgia fans behind. I had some Auburn fans to the right, and I had a few Georgia fans to the left. So it was kind of a mixture of both ends. But you could tell as soon as some officiating things started happening that you could tell it was a really sore spot for Auburn. They had games against Texas A&M. They had games against uh, the game against Oklahoma, and then Georgia now. And you could just tell that. And I didn't know this. I didn't even think about this, but it was like when the first call, and that was obviously the goal line call, happened. It was a very like tense moment because you could tell that it was like these fans have already felt like they're hurt a little bit from officiating in the past. And
Yeah.
I've heard the Oklahoma game was a terribly officiated game, a lot of
It
stuff, and
was.
I watched a little bit of it,
It was
but it
bad,
felt,
dude.
yeah. So it felt like a fan base that was really just already very triggered. As
Yeah.
soon as the fumble got overturned, it reminded me of Texas Georgia last year because the beer cans flew from the corner onto the field, and they didn't stop play, but they had to clean it up. And
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, okay, so this is how it's going from there. So the feel around was everybody was, once that one call happened, that was the one that sucked the momentum out of the stadium, and that was the one that they dwelled on the remainder of the game. And so you could
Yeah.
sense the fans were in line with the team. I think the team, as soon as that happened, they didn't go up 17-0. I felt like they had no wind in their sails anymore. And the
Yeah.
fans as well. The fans as well. It was loud. Um, on third down, they just added a new jumbotron on the other end of the end zone. It's a little smaller than the one on the from the student side, but
Yeah.
the big jumbotron on third down plays this like operatic, like heavy bass thing, and
Yeah.
dude, it feels like it's coming through your chest, and the stands are rattling.
Yeah.
So I'm saying all this to say, and I said it last night, was I don't know if Georgia fans give Gunnar Stockton and this offense and this defense in the second half enough credit for overcoming what I thought was a intense, loud environment at Auburn. But some fans told me that I was sitting by in Georgia. They were in Knoxville, and they said this made Knoxville look like Knoxville was like king of the hill. And I'm like, what? And they were like, yes. They were like, it was twice as loud in Knoxville. And I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I don't know how. So, yeah, I don't know if that explains it or describes it well, but
No, it does. Oh yeah.
they rode the wave of officiating. Some fans just stood there. I love my brother to death, but he was one of them, and was just like, you know, he was like, I don't know if we've ever in the history of college football relied on this much technology in a game. And did it suck the wind out of the game? Did it suck the momentum? All that, yeah. But I
Yeah.
will back it, and I'll let you kind of finish off this segment. I will back it and tell you that Auburn had a whole second half of football. they had a whole second half. Georgia lost the first half. Maybe you would say they won it on the turnover battle with the one turnover of the game happening on the goal line. But
Yeah.
Auburn had the opportunity to come out and do as they please. They even had a break at halftime to kind of break the momentum of what was going on. And they could only find 40 yards of total offense. And really it was 15 until the last drive. And we were in prevent, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if you really want to be technical on the goal line, they waved the play dead because Kyron Jones would have scored. He never was down.
No.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'll give you those, tidbits of what I think, but what I mean from your avenue, and you're watching on TV, you heard the sports commentators like, where were they at in the situation?
Sean McDonough said touchdown, 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 touchdown. I don't know why they're spending this much time looking at it. It's a touchdown. Obviously, it's a touchdown. Obviously, it's a touchdown. And McElroy is just kind of like over there, like, yeah. I think he just agreed with Sean McDonough just to save, to spite any hostility or anything, because Sean McDonough gets really aggressive sometimes. He's more of a hockey guy than he is a football guy. I don't like watching him call our games. I really don't. He's so negative.
Right.
But and then when they're walking off the field, Hugh Freeze does an interview right before he walks into the locker room, and he's laughing.
Right.
Why is he laughing? What's funny?
Well, I don't
What's
know if
funny
you
about
saw
what
it.
just happened?
I don't know if you saw it, but the Auburn AD actually ran the officials down as well and gave them an earful on the way in. It was a
Yeah.
pretty I don't even know the word for it, surreal moment as
hmm
you look at the head football coach, and then you look at the AD chasing the officials down in their ear. And I mean, I get it. But here's what I'll tell you about the call. Everybody's talking about it, obviously, but from what I understand, and the reason why it didn't get turned over, uh, is because the call on the field was fumble, right? The video and 75 to 80% of the angles they had led officials in Birmingham and on the field to believe that when Jackson Dart, when
They
Jackson
wish.
Arnold lunged into the end zone, they felt like when he jumped forward, he already did not have control of the ball.
Yep.
So when they caught the nose covering crossing the plane, they didn't feel like he had control when it crossed the plane, whether it be that CJ had already punched it or that the ball was going forward out of control and it hit really quick and CJ hit it so quick that they really didn't know if it was he lost control going forward or he lost
Yeah.
control from CJ hitting it. So what do they have to go with? The call on the field.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it, but also if you think about it, Auburn, they only lost the momentum right there. Think about it. Because if the play would have worked to the favor of what it was supposed to be, we would have scored a touchdown there. Right?
I mean, they're still up 10-0.
Right.
And
Right.
it's not like we got the touchdown. It's
Right.
not like they gave us the touchdown. It's not like
Right.
it was 10-7 or even that was a lead changing play. Like it wasn't.
Right.
But I understand also that it was extremely demoralizing.
Uh-huh.
But then I also understand that they have a head coach for a reason
Right.
who's supposed to be able to go in there and pick them up.
Right.
Tell them, block that out, move on. That's it. That's over. It happened. We're still winning. Let's go
Right.
finish them off. We got it. We're going to be ranked after this. All the joking, all the talking is going to go away. We're going to be a legit team.
Right.
And that didn't happen. I don't know what he did. I don't know what he said when he went in there, but they came out dejected, unenergetic, no passion, no nothing.
Yeah.
And you could see Jackson Arnold, man, that last drive of the game. By the way, this is the third game in a row that they have lost their last offensive possession ended on a sack of him getting sacked. 3 games in a row that they were in the game, one possession game, had a chance to win, okay, or tie at least. Oklahoma safety, Texas A&M. I don't know if it was a safety, but I know they were back in the red zone or in in their own end of the end zone, and then us sack game.
Right.
3 games in a row. And he was throwing balls 5 yards away from his receivers that last possession too. Like what? What happened to him?
Yeah.
Like how did he get so unconfident or just checked out that that's what he's doing, because that's not what he was doing in the first half.
Right.
So I mean, the man didn't forget how to play,
Yeah.
you know. So what was Hugh Freeze doing in the locker room, man? Like, I don't
Yeah,
understand.
it was more of it was not that. So a lot of what you said earlier, I love how you said that. We did not talk about that before we came on the air. I agree with that. I think Hugh Freeze had a week. I mean, Kirby said in the presser, he said, we were seeing things in the first half we did not prepare for. We had not seen it on tape, and we were not prepared for that. And so, I mean, you're talking about Kirby Smart here. You're talking about one of the most prolific defensive strategists in the country, right?
Exactly.
So he goes in at halftime and he adjusts. But here's the thing that everybody missed in the adjustment phase. Kirby didn't make the adjustments, man. Everybody's dogging Schumann, dogging Bobo. Let's set the record straight really quick, because here's the thing about Kirby. Kirby, he has to worry about the mentality of his team right now. It's 10-3. It's an emotional transfer, right? We went from 17-0 and possibly having to come in and talk about they can't score. I mean, it's kind of a South Carolina scenario from last year where the big pep talk at halftime. Here's what we're going to do. We get the ball at the half. We're going to score we have 4-5 possessions probably in this rest of this game. We have to score on every single one of those, and they can't score. And it happened. So that's what Kirby's thinking. Schumann, and when I say this normally doesn't happen, every single staff member from the press box was down in the locker room. Everyone. I mean, when they ran out of the huddle, I mean, out of the corner, it was like 27 staff black jackets that ran from there up to the press box. So you could tell that it was like, hey, I need every support staff, because here's what we're seeing. We haven't seen this before, and we have to adjust. Not only did defensive adjustments happen, but then I don't know if anybody see Mike Bobo just dialing up third down after third down after third down after. I mean, the play that stock. If anybody is saying that Mike Bobo is not in his bag right now as a play caller, something's wrong, because the play that we scored on was a masterpiece. We ran the touchdown to Dylan Bell against Kentucky a week ago. Remember this? It was an end around to Dylan Bell.
Yep.
I think Bobo knew it would be on tape. He ran that play twice in that thing, and he did two things that he's never put on tape. The one that we got the third down, the key third down and 2 on, he faked it to Dylan Bell, and then everybody thought the handoff was going to Frazier, and Frazier ran straight through the line, and that's when he caught that pass for 3 yards to get the first down. And then the one that Stockton scored on, he came right back to it, and they saw the look, and they're like, this has got to be Dylan Bell, right? No. Fake to Dylan Bell. Frazier went through, he blocked, and we just bootlegged. We necked it. We naked bootlegged. It was Bobo going, I don't have to do anything right now but play with Hugh Freeze's and the D coordinator from Auburn's mind, and he did it. He literally played with their mind, man. It was a masterpiece. I mean, go look at it on tape. He's in his bag, man. I think Bobo, I mean, the first half people were like, fire Bobo, and I'm like, brother, we haven't seen the ball but 9 times. 9 snaps. 9 snaps. I mean, if we didn't try to get the run going, what would the fan base say, Fish? Why are we not running the ball? We average 185 yards a game. Why are we not running the ball? Well, here's the thing, man. Like, and also, by the way, remember Monroe Freeling, who was not in the game then? Remember, Ernest Green, who's not in the game then? I mean, this is a line that they're still. I mean, I get it, man. They've been there, done that, but Jordan here is still different than Knoxville, right? But like, who comes out of the? I mean, who comes into the game and I don't know if fans know this, but do you know who the offensive lineman of the week was in the SEC? It's Monroe Freeling. It's Monroe Freeling, man. The man was hurt. He came in the game, sucked it up, and he was a key reason why Georgia won that football game in the second half. Ended up being, I mean, this is a guy that on Wednesday Kirby said, I don't even know if Monroe's going to be able to go to Auburn. I don't even know if we should let him travel. So, anyways, it's just one of those things. I mean, it was a game of you were just shaking your head at the end. But the one thing I think fans got to get out of their mind is that, oh, we just kind of got away with one in Auburn. Are you serious? No, we shut down a team that possibly should be at least 2-1, if not 3-0, if they get the momentum against Georgia.
They
in
were
the
2
SEC.
plays from being undefeated.
Yeah.
Right
And a
now. I
defense that
mean,
I thought played really well. EJ
they got a
Durkins had
great
that defense
defense.
ready. Yeah.
He did. They got a good defense. They really, really, really do.
What's your final thoughts on Auburn before we put it to bed, Fish? What did you get from that game? What do you leave with that game?
I don't want to call it luck. Maybe benefit of the doubt. But what happened happened, and this happens all the time. This isn't the first time something strange has happened at the end of a game to affect the outcome.
Uh-huh.
It happens all the time. It's football. It's sports. It sucks. You got to just deal with it and move on. Like I was just talking to my wife earlier. I was telling her, hey, I'm gonna watch the last couple of minutes of the game last week. I'm just letting you know. And she was like, "What? I'm used to it."
Yeah.
That hard Auburn fan. Been an Auburn fan her whole life.
Yeah.
I'm used to it. I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Georgia fans
kind of makes you feel
up,
bad for him a little bit.
Yeah. Georgia fans woke up with a lot less problems than some people across the country on Sunday morning. I mean, you got an Oklahoma team who this was an Oklahoma team that before that game, everybody would have said this Oklahoma team's unstoppable. John Mateer's unstoppable. And then we just showed it, right? Texas is a team that everybody was like, this ain't the same Texas. Any week, man, this can happen.
Yep.
This SEC is more like an NFL schedule every single week. And until we start looking at it that way, and here's another thing to look at, because I think it'll be fun to do this at the end, but playoff projections, man. I think the SEC right now is probably guaranteed. They're guaranteed 5. I think it's a good chance they get 6, because I don't know if the ACC, depending on how Georgia Tech continues, Georgia Tech has to beat Duke this week, and they still have to play Georgia. But depending on how Georgia Tech keeps going, there's only one coming out of the ACC. There's only one coming out of the Big 12. That's it. Texas Tech is going to win the Big 12. They're going to be the only one. Yep. And the other key game this weekend is USC and Notre Dame. That's a key game to watch, because if USC beats Notre Dame has 0 shot of an at-large bid. So therefore,
they shouldn't have it. They should be out too. They've already got 2 losses.
Yeah. Therefore, it's like 90% going to be
already.
Yeah, 90% is going to be Big 10 and SEC. So,
yep.
It's which is crazy, right? Because the Big 10 and SEC kind of want their own playoff. That's kind of crazy. Which I will say now, Miami and Texas Tech are viable options to make the playoffs and do some damage. But this is going to be interesting. You're going to see SEC teams duking it out. I mean, Oregon was undefeated and the most hottest team in the nation per game day on that morning, and Kirk Cignetti said, "Halt that," So, let's put it to bed,
lucky.
man. Go ahead.
They dodged Ohio State this year. Indiana dodged Ohio State this year, so they may very well finish the season undefeated.
Can't dodge them in the Big Ten championship, though.
That's true.
You can't dodge them in the Big Ten championship.
Very true.
The SEC, fortunately, the SEC, there's going to be some teams that benefit from dodging that championship game. I know. In past we won it last year, but Texas actually probably benefited from losing the SEC championship last year, in my opinion. That's just me. Well, let's get into it, man. So Ole Miss comes to town. We want to have time for picks. We're going to just briefly preview them, talk about keys to the game, a little backside knowledge. Georgia's averaging approximately 414 total yards per game as we speak right now, 185 yards rushing per game. That's top 15 in college football. Defensively, Georgia's allowing about 307 yards a game total. It's keeping teams to 91.7 yards rushing per game. Scoring defense, giving up right at 17 points a game, which is not bad at all. Georgia's been very stingy in the ground game. Concerning number, turnover margin, but I don't know about you, Fish, but like turnover margin throughout the entire college football. I don't turn on the TV and watch college football. I think the overall storyline of a lot of teams this year is don't turn the football over, and we don't get put in positions where we can't win the game. And so you're seeing that more. A lot of teams preaching that. Ole Miss 6-0, 3-0 in the SEC, leads the way offensively, 37.8 points per game. averaging about 311 passing and 204 on the ground. Defensively, allowing
Very
about
diverse.
19.2, and even worse in the turnover margin, -4 in the turnover margin. Georgia leads the
Yep.
series 33-14, and obviously Ole Miss beats Georgia in Oxford last year 28-10. One that we all shook our heads on, right? So
Yep.
after hearing all that, Fish, why don't you open us up? Talk to me a little bit about Ole Miss, what you expect, what you're looking forward to, and we'll dive into maybe some key players and keys to victory.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot like most of our other games this year. It's going to be, I believe it's going to be a one possession game. I think it's going to be, I mean, obviously I'm not blowing my pick away or anything, but I think it's going to be something like 27-21 or something like that. Something, very similar to last week in Alabama. But Ole Miss, they're always a scary team to play, but just strictly based on their head coach. Like Lane Kiffin teams are well coached. The discipline and the offense is going to sling it all over the field. They're going to get creative and they're going to give us things that we haven't seen. I guarantee you, he has some things in his bag that nobody's seen yet.
Yeah.
Just like Auburn, just like Bama. These
Yeah.
teams, and he even admitted that he had been practicing. He'd been, prepping for Georgia even ahead of Washington State, which is
Right.
probably a reason they went out there and laid an egg. They still got the dub, but they definitely laid a giant egg against
Right.
Washington State. Got lucky to win that game.
I agree. I agree.
It's going to be close. They're, like I said, well coached. This Trinidad Chambliss, who wasn't starting at the beginning of the year, but now apparently it's his team. I don't know how long his leash is, but it'd be nice if we can go in there and get him pulled,
Right.
before halftime or right after halftime.
Right.
That'd be, if we could go out there and dominate the game like that. Looking forward to it, dude. I mean, I'm not afraid, kind of like I was last year. I wasn't afraid last year, but playing in the rain on the road in the SEC, especially in Oxford, which is a little stadium, but it gets really, really, really loud. It's a hard place to play.
Right.
But I'm really confident heading into this game. Got a lot of confidence in our defense, especially, and our run game, which is Georgia football.
Right.
That's traditional Georgia football, and I think we're finally getting back there. And our defense is making it so we don't have to lean on Gunner as much.
Yeah.
Which is good because we don't want to have to lean on Gunner. Not that he can't handle it, because he's obviously shown us that he can. He's been looking good in some very clutch moments on the road, and a couple of what I think are the hardest places to play in the SEC on the road, especially at night.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge thing mentioned from Kirby was we have to create an environment that is unsettling for this Ole Miss team. Lane Kiffin does probably one of the best coaches with in-game adjustments. He likes to tell his quarterback every single thing that he needs to see. He's not afraid to scream it right into the helmet. He's not afraid to overanalyze. He's not afraid to put it in layman's terms with you of what you're seeing, how you're going to see it. I mean, it's almost like Lane Kiffin's like, look, I'm fine with being in the helmet, basically. I just need you to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I just need you to,
Yeah.
and he's fine with that. And, the biggest thing that I will say about the reason why I always feel okay about this game is, this game's at home this time. I said this against Alabama, but I'll say it again also too, is where is the Ole Miss continuity and, Portal King Lane Kiffin. You got to look at Georgia sometimes and go, every team is going to go in the portal, but when is it going to hit Ole Miss to where when it comes down to players leaning on players more in brother to brother type atmosphere rather than just number to number, and they have to win battles in the trenches, who's going to fold and who's going to rise above it? And, if it's one thing I will tell you, and I said it, there's actually a TikTok clip floating around out there, is this might not be the most talented team that Kirby Smart has had, but it is by far the toughest. And they won't go away, man. They will not go away. You have to bury them. We're
Yeah.
not scared to be down. We're not scared to play from behind. But I would be honored to play from ahead on
Yeah,
this
wouldn't it be
Saturday,
great?
which that'd be great, right?
Yep.
It would be the honor of myself. No, I can't do anything for it, but I I would love to see this team. I don't know, man. I might. I said this once last year too, man. I don't know if I'm Kirby. I might go into this game, and if I win the coin toss, man, I might just take the ball, right? Just take the ball.
Yeah.
Get it out of our system. Where you're not allowed to go and put points up on us, or us have a little bit of you know a slow outing, so that you can just take the ball, man. Put the pressure on them.
Yeah.
Put the noise and the pressure on them, whether it be a field goal or just a great drive that ends in a punt that pushes them far back in the. I mean, I don't know. I think we got to look at. We talk about fast starts. Can we manifest some fast starts? Can we
Yeah.
manifest them to where they can act in our favor? Let's talk about key players. You mentioned from Ole Miss. You mentioned Trinidad. So Trinidad, Chambliss, Ferris State. Do you know where Ferris State is? Um, all I know about
No.
Ferris is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, man. Um,
I was about to say the same thing.
yeah, so averaged over 15 yards per completion at Ferris State. 65% of his passes. This is an incredible portal find for
Hmm.
Ole Miss, and I just feel like this is a notorious Lane Kiffin find right here. But the kid's doing really good. He's an elite runner. He's been able to throw the ball really well. He's been able to cause enough havoc with these defensive eyes that he's able to keep defenses on the run. Kewan Lacey, second in the SEC in rushing, definitely one of their top 2-3 players. 8 rushing touchdowns this year, and then T.J. Daughtery, Rebels defensive leading tackler. He's averaging about 6 or 7 tackles a game. And then obviously when you look at key players for Georgia, obviously Gunnar Stockton. You would love to see Stockton continue to maybe even earlier on in the game, maybe just have more control of the offense. Maybe some comfortable play calls that are getting him in comfortable positions to take some shots, but also use his legs. C.J. Allen, who's coming off a great game at Auburn, is averaging about 7-8 tackles a game, and then Raylan Wilson, man. Raylan Wilson had his first really breakthrough game at Auburn, right? He was part of the whole fumble on the goal line, and has been a really great presence in that middle, stopping the run. Would you agree, Fish? I know you liked Raylan Wilson
Dude,
a lot at the
our,
beginning of
our
the year.
I love Raylan. I loved him last year, dude. I think we've got the two best inside linebackers in the country.
Yeah, yeah.
Fight
I
me,
mean,
like
and I'm gonna be honest. I think our
dude, they
defensive
are
line's
awesome.
coming around too, right? I mean, would you agree? I think our
Slowly but
defensive line
surely,
is
man.
finally coming around, right?
We actually got a non-garbage time sack
Yeah,
this
yeah,
game against Auburn. It wasn't our third string, true freshman coming in getting a sack in the like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, of that Kentucky game.
yeah,
Like I like to see that. We've got to pressure the quarterback. Like,
yeah,
we're man heavy. Okay, those guys can't guard those guys. They can't guard. It's impossible to play man to man defense for more than 3 or 4 seconds
uh-huh,
without
yeah,
somebody being open somewhere.
yeah,
And if you got a surgeon back there, you're going to get picked apart unless you
yeah,
can blitz him. AKA,
yeah.
Ty Simpson, Alabama
Right,
game, ate
right.
us up, tore us up. We weren't getting
Yeah,
pressure.
I agree. I agree, man. I totally agree. Let's look at the 4 keys to victory for Georgia. So I think if we get these things done, Fish, I think we win the football game. I think the first thing we have is stop the run and control the tempo. I think if you make Ole Miss one dimensional, you get Kewan Lacey under control, which we've done a pretty good job of this year, stopping the run. If we get Lacey under control, force Chambliss to beat us in the air, it kind of narrows Ole Miss strengths. They like to go fast. They like to, I think, when you start getting into making them throw the ball more and the mixture of completions plus incomplete passes, it doesn't allow them to go
Yeah.
fast. And they want to go fast. And I think Georgia on the other side is controlling the tempo. We want to run the football, right? We want long, sustainable um, drives that I like to say drives that hurt, right? We want those big time
Yeah.
drives like we had at the end of the game versus Auburn. Second thing I would
Mhm.
say is we got to protect Gunner. He took a lot of. I mean, I think if you look at Auburn's way of, go ahead.
Did, did you see the post game interview? that Gunner did? Have you had time to watch that?
I did. I did see it.
Did you not get Rocky vibes
I
from
I
that? The man
I
looked like he had been in a war,
yeah. Yeah, I
and he
think
was like he just took shot after shot after shot after shot, dude. Like,
yeah.
and you could tell because she was asking him questions, and he was not answering the question.
Yeah.
He was just talking.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't answering the question, and I was like, man, like I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that he's okay. I'm sure
Yeah.
they're not going to put him in harm's way. But
Yeah, I think
wow, I
I
was
think
I was
Gunner
really a little
is
concerned.
Gunner's everybody that we wanted this year, right?
Yeah,
We saw
yeah.
the Carson Beck last year, and everybody's still doing it right now. They're like, do you want Carson Beck back? I mean, look what he's doing at Miami. And da, 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 da. Here's the thing, man.
It is what it is.
Gunner's standing in there, and he is making some really great throws in clutch moments. I mean, Auburn did a different thing. A lot of these teams have sat back in zone. They love to throw zone at him and spied him and said, beat us, right? I think Auburn said we're going to run zone. We're going to give him some different looks, but we're going to come after him, right? And I think they thought,
And they
well,
hit him.
with this offensive line, not necessarily that they can't block, but just we're going to make them do everything right. They got to get the snap count right in front of 92,000. It's loud. You got to block. You got to get the right stunt, and then you got to say, all right, Gunner, you got to beat us. And he didn't beat you per se. He didn't like to a drum, but he made throws when he needed to that were pretty damn. And I mean, they were crazy throws, man. Some where he just took really really vicious hits. And no, that's a great way to
Zach Branch
describe
had
it,
a
man.
lot to do on that last drive. Zach Branch had a lot to do. I was really impressed.
Yeah,
Really impressed. He's my favorite player on our
yeah.
offense.
He is. He's definitely been our
I love
go-to
I love it when he
guy.
gets the ball.
Yeah, definitely been our go-to
Yep.
guy. It's nice to see somebody in the slot that it reminds me of. It's not there yet, but he is reminding me of what possibly like a Brock Bowers or a Lav McConkey was to Stetson. I mean, it's like when I'm looking for
Hmm.
yards, I'm really seeing two players come to mind right now, and that's young. That's Colby Young, and that's Branch. I feel like those are two players
Yep.
that he's really looking at and he's looking for. And I think down the line, and for all I know against Ole Miss, I think that you know that Humphreys, and I think you're going to see Noah Thomas, who made a big play at the Auburn game. I think this is where you're going to start seeing
Yes.
them get their shining moments because we're going to get some
Yep.
coverage and two coverage looks on top of Colby and Branch. Do you agree?
Hmm. Oh yeah, dude. I even bought my daughter a Zach Branch shirt from the bookstore when I was in Athens last
Love it,
week for the Kentucky game.
love it,
Like,
man.
dude, he's great. That man can go out and run a zig or a slant. He's open. Boom. I
I
mean,
love
can't
that,
do
man.
that obviously every time, but that man look. Oof. We're lucky. We're lucky to
Yeah,
have him.
I love it, man. And then third down, short yardage. I think we got to sustain drives. It's going to be key because I think time of possession. The more effective we can run the ball, the less we can keep Ole Miss's offense off the field. That's a win, right? And then turnovers. I
Yes, sir.
mean, turnover battle is going to be huge. Has Chambliss played in an environment like Sanford Stadium before, and can he come in and do the things that you know he's notorious for doing in the past few games? You got to remember this kid was. I mean, this kid was not just like Gunner. He's not like really big game tested right now. I would say prior to Tennessee and Auburn for Gunner, but I don't know if at home
No,
against Washington State would you say that's big game tested, right?
no,
Yeah,
no, not at all. Not even a little bit, dude. Um, yeah. He's going to be pure adrenaline, and
yeah,
that's why I like what you said about Kirby taking the ball first, because that man's going to be pure 100% adrenaline when he comes out there, and he's going to be just all over the place. And
yeah,
whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think we take the ball first, settle down, and then I think that'll benefit us. I don't know. I
yeah,
mean, I feel like that's what happened, with Ty Simpson. I think he just came out. He was bouncing on his toes in the pocket. He wasn't like a tree back there. I know he can scramble a little bit, but I think
Right.
that actually helps a young quarterback who maybe hasn't seen anything like an atmosphere like that yet.
Yeah. And you got to think, man, like making play from behind the whole game, right? I saw I was
Yeah.
talking to a couple of Auburn fans after the game, and I turned around. By the way, I was in that. You asked me about the atmosphere down there. I had a ton of Auburn fans in front of me, and I had a couple of Georgia fans, and so there was the targeting play on Gunner. When that happened, all the Auburn fans were yelling, holding, and I said, and I just kind of yelled out. I was like, they're not looking at holding. I said they're looking at targeting, and I kid you not, the three Auburn fans that were in front of me turned around and said, remember now these are butthurt fans from officials, right? They were like,
Hmm.
that's ridiculous. You're just making crap up now, and I'm like, man, you got the same jumbotron that I'm looking at, right? I said they're looking at targeting,
Yeah.
and for me, I think that play was just as important as the fourth down, the goal line play, as the targeting play, because that was the play
Yeah.
that let us go down and get the field goal, and had the momentum of now all Georgia's saying is we get the ball, we come out and score, it's a new ball game, right? So
30, 35 penalty yards on that
yeah,
last drive.
yeah,
35.
yeah. Crazy, man. What's at stake? So Georgia wins this. It's in the driver's seat, obviously. We will have a week off, and we'll go to Jacksonville, and then we have Mississippi State, Texas. I think we end up with Charlotte, and then the big game against Tech. But definitely, as far as the SEC is concerned, it gets us to it gives a really good picture of what needs to be done to either A, get to Atlanta, or also B, to get a playoff position. Loss would hurt. I think that a lot of SEC teams are going to be in that 10-2 mark. I think is going to get you in as an SEC team. I think we're going to get 5 in, 6, and hell, I don't know if somebody wets the bed, it could be 7. I don't know, but I think that 2-loss mark could get you in. 3 losses, I've heard a couple people say 3 is because you're fixing to see. I mean, we're going to pick these games here in a minute. There's 8 SEC games. First time in a long time we've had 8 SEC games going on a Saturday. So
Yep.
full slate of
Awesome.
SEC games. But then obviously Ole Miss. I mean, they're 6-0 right now. They're ranked in the top 5. College Game Day is going to be in Athens. So this would be another huge win for Lane Kiffin, and it really would put them in the driver's seat, because I feel like after Georgia, their schedule lines up very well to possibly go undefeated and to
It does.
possibly, put them in the SEC championship game. Saturday, October 18th. This game's at 3:30. It's at 3:30 on ABC. Like we said, game day is going to be there. Right now, Georgia's getting a solid 6.5 points. That number has changed in 2 days. It was 7.5 2
A
days
lot.
ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
All right, Fish. How about we pick some games? You want to do it?
Let's do it.
Let's hop in, man. We're gonna start in the SEC. We're gonna run through here. South
Naturally.
Carolina 12:45 heading to Oklahoma number 14. Oklahoma coming off that loss to Texas in the Red River rivalry. That's a hard thing to say, man. Really quickly, but OU's getting
Red River
5.5 right
I
now
know.
over South Carolina. It's in Inner Sandman world. Who you got in this game, Fish?
Give me South Cackalack, man. They need a win. They
do
were
need to win.
close. They were close last week, but they need to win bad.
They need to win bad. This is an early kick, right? Is Mateer really? I mean, I saw some plays where Mateer, they said that he was constantly grabbing at that wrist, grabbing at that hand, man. So I don't know, man.
He shouldn't have
Oklahoma's
come
got
back. He shouldn't have came back.
Oklahoma's got a pretty daunting schedule. Yeah, I agree. He should not have come back. Oklahoma's got a pretty daunting schedule remaining. So this is one I think they have to win, because at the end of the day, there's still some games out there that they really, this could be a team that could easily go downhill from here and be like, well, 5-0 is like Jekyll and Hyde, right? I think Oklahoma has to get a win here. I don't think they let South Carolina at home on 12:45. If you told me they were going into South Carolina as a night game, I might think different, but I'm gonna take Oklahoma in this one. Maybe Mateer feels a little bit better. Arkansas 3:30, Texas A&M number 4 Texas A&M. Wow, Texas A&M only a 7.5 point favorite versus Arkansas. 3:30. This is Petrino's second game as their interim head coach. Who you got, Fish?
Yeah. Oh, I got A&M by 21 at least.
Big time A&M. I agree, man. I don't have much on this
At
one.
least.
A&M. They're. I don't know if you know this, man, but they've only allowed in the last 4 games. They've only allowed 2 third down conversions. That's crazy. That is a crazy, crazy stat, man. 4:15. Mississippi
We need a
State
stat
heading
like
down.
that.
What's that?
I said we need a stat like that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we
We
do.
need to
Mississippi
get
State.
teams off the field on third down, dude.
Right, dude. That's my number one motto, man. Get off the field. I say it like 20 times as I'm watching the game every week, man. Mississippi
Yep.
State goes to Florida. Just picking the SEC games this week too. Mississippi State goes to Florida. Florida's got a 9.5 points right now. Man, you said it earlier. You may have given your pick away, but Florida loses this one. 2 questions, 2 picks. Florida loses. Does Billy Napier get fired? Number 2, who wins the game?
The nail's already in the coffin, okay, for Napier. This is just going to be the pallbearers putting him in the back of the hearse and slamming the door and sending him on his way. Cowbell all day long, okay? Like, Napier's gone. There's no more
Wow.
patience, no nothing. He's gone. Has to be.
So you're predicting
has
Georgia,
to be.
Florida does
There's
not
no.
have Billy Napier as a coach.
He's already coached his last Georgia Florida game. It was last year.
Wow, that's awesome.
I
Man.
don't know who's going to be on the sideline. Probably one of the coordinators, but it's not going to be Napier.
I like Florida in this one too.
No way
Man.
he survives.
I don't know how Florida's getting 9.5 in this game. I must say Mississippi State wins this one, man, in an absolute barn burner. Like I'm talking high scoring game. No defense in this game. Even though Florida's had good defense all year, no defense in this game. And I think when Florida sees the only thing that's been going well this year for Florida, which is their defense, and it struggles, yeah, I think Napier's gone. Give me Mississippi State by. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it. That Mississippi State has a stand, right? They're up by like 4. They have like a stand. I
Yeah.
think Mississippi. Give me Mississippi State by 4. I'm on board with you on that one.
Yeah.
7 o'clock, ESPN, number 21, Texas heads to Kentucky. Texas is a 12.5 point favorite. Who you got, Fish?
No, I'd love to see a big upset here. Arch go in, throw 3 or 4 interceptions. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think Texas is hot, which is kind of making me a little nervous because Arch is trending in the right direction,
Right.
But he did make some good plays. But man, some of those throws he made in the Oklahoma game, those receivers were wide open.
Yeah.
Like anybody could have made those throws, but Arch Manning's making them, and I don't know, but he is making them now at least, and which is more than we could say for him earlier in the season.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Texas, easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me Texas. But I will say this: if this game's closer than it should be, or if it's a struggle for Texas to win this game, I feel confident about Texas later on in the season. This makes me feel like I don't really. There's nothing to worry. If this game's close, it does give me like a kind of a closure on the fact that this team is really struggling, and we really don't have the answer. Sarkisian just has these. I call them these holy freaking airball moment answers where they're just getting some things accomplished to win a couple games, but they're not really getting the big thing accomplished. 7:45, number 19.
Yeah.
No, number 16, Missouri heads to Auburn. Must win game for Auburn. I think if Hugh Freeze wants to see his job, I really think this one is it. I didn't call Georgia because it may have been Georgia, but with the penalties, I don't think they could do it. But night game, 7:45. Who you got, Fish?
I'm not picking Missouri, and I think Hugh Freeze. I don't know. I don't think he's coaching for his life. I think he'll survive the season. I think it's going to have a lot to do with the way they handle the rest of the season. Like if he goes and he beats Bama, and they win this game, then I think he's good. I don't think he has to beat Bama necessarily to survive the season, even though that is the last game of the season. But I'm picking Auburn for sure.
Yeah.
Whether or not Hugh Freeze, I don't know. I don't know if he'll be there next year. I don't, because it's tricky because a lot of things haven't gone his way, and it's not like Auburn wasn't in these games.
Yeah.
These are one possession losses. And his coaching at the end of the game is one thing, but Jackson Arnold at the end of these games is garbage.
Yeah.
Like he's not a college level SEC level quarterback in these last moments of these games. He's not.
Right.
He is letting his team down, and he can. It's like he forgets how to play. Like he forgets what's happening. He just is so in his head. He has no confidence. Dude, he was throwing balls in the dirt.
Yeah.
Like 5-10 yards behind the receiver. And that's completely opposite from what he was doing in the first half. And how do you drop off so much, man? That's got to be between his ears. It has to be.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna throw one out there for the Gipper tonight. Auburn needs this win, man. I sat with a lot of Auburn fans that, man, I just felt like they needed a win. They needed it against a ranked team. They needed it at home. They needed it at night. They need to walk out of that stadium feeling better than they did against Georgia because this is a team that is literally small possessions away from having a better record and a better position where they're at. And if they can beat Missouri, that gives them a little wind in their sails. And I think there's some tough games ahead, including Alabama, but, miracles can happen. I think it's a favorable schedule. Is it a winnable one? I don't know, but it's favorable. But I think they find a way. They need to find a way. And I think the stars line up. I think Missouri continues some of its woes that it had against Alabama. I think Jordan Hare will be really. I mean, I heard that game at 7. At 7:45, it's going to be even worse. I think Auburn wins. I think this is a very low scoring game, and I think this is going to be one that Auburn prevails. I think, at least you hope. All right, man. Here's one for you. 7:30 ABC. These are the last. Picking the last 3 games. 7:30 ABC. Number 11 Tennessee versus Alabama. This is the rematch of Alabama going into Knoxville. Morgan Wallen writing some really famous songs off of the victory over Alabama, smoking some stogies, all those things. Alabama's at 7.5 right now. Who you got, Fish?
This is actually a hard game. Like, it being in Knoxville actually absolutely affects my decision here. Absolutely. If it was in Bryant Denny, Alabama all day long, I think the only reason Tennessee has a chance is because it's a home game. Alabama is one of the hottest teams in the country right now, but they were extremely vulnerable looking against Missouri because I don't think Missouri's that good. I really don't. I think the 11 o'clock kick on the road had a lot to do with the way Bama looked. I think Missouri played one of the best games they're capable of playing that day, and it still wasn't good enough. So, yeah, I'm going to take Bama by 3 in a close one.
Yeah, easy for me on this one. Tennessee's defense, as of late, has really struggled against the pass. Ty Simpson is a surgeon lately in the passing game. I think exposure in the passing game continues to cause Tennessee problems. It's going to be a game that if Tennessee can run the ball, I think they can score with Alabama. But if it comes down to a field goal, it's Tennessee because I don't know, man. Well, I don't know, man. Both of these kickers have wet the bed in moments where they needed to hit a kick. So I think Alabama too much. I think they cover. I think they cover probably. So give me Alabama because my upset is here. So number 17 Vanderbilt, number 10 LSU. Vandy right now is a 2.5-point favorite, and I'm going to go before you on this one and tell you that this is an upset. Vanderbilt wins this game. LSU finally gets exposed. Brian Kelly loses the game that puts him on the hot seat. That gives him a little heat to his little old pants he wears. And yeah, man, give me Vanderbilt in this game.
He's like. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish.
No, give me Vanderbilt.
I have some strong feelings about Brian Kelly.
No, you're good. Give me Vanderbilt, and I don't think it's close, man. I don't think it's close. I think you're going to have to score with Vanderbilt, and they can't. So.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And you know, this is kind of like a James Franklin situation here with Brian Kelly. You know, these are both very Mark Richt-ish type coaches, where they just, for whatever reason, can't win the right games. Not the big games, the right games.
Right.
Okay. You know, James Franklin did have an abysmal record against ranked teams. Okay, especially top 10 teams. You know, and that's Ohio State, Michigan can't win the right games. Those are the right games you got to win. And ultimately, that's why he lost his job. Well, losing to Northwestern was the nail in the coffin.
Right.
But, you know, you got to do better than that. And, you know, Brian Kelly, I almost called him Jim Kelly. Wow, what an insult to Jim Kelly. Brian Kelly is just in that same boat, dude. He's unable to get over the hump. Yeah. And, you know, how long, you know, or is LSU going to sit there and, you know, just deal with that? Just because he must be able to, you know, Brian Kelly could sell, you know, ice to an Eskimo, I guess, because he whatever he's saying is working, because he has a job, and nobody's talking about his hot seat status, or, you know, man, if he doesn't start winning some of these big games, that, you know, I haven't heard anybody say that. The man's got a permanent time slot on Feinbaum, which I can't watch Feinbaum until 3:30 every Monday afternoon, because I don't want to listen to him talk to Brian Kelly.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, give me Vandy all day long.
Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. And then the 3:30 game, Georgia, right behind us, between the hedges in Athens at 3:30 on Saturday against Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels. Right now, as of right now, Georgia is favored is back up again to 7.5.
Nice.
Which is wild, right? I mean, this is either based off of a team coming off of a Washington State whiff, or they feel like the competition that they've played is not very relevant, or they feel like Georgia is just, now you're getting Georgia in late October, right? This could be a different Georgia team. This is a team that embarrassed Lane Kiffin 2 years ago at home. However, I know Georgia felt a little bit embarrassed last year at home when Ole Miss was at home. So, you know, Kirby doesn't say anything about revenge, but you can't tell me there's not some scoreboard material on the walls in the locker rooms over there at the practice facility this week. You can't tell me that, right? Motivation is motivation.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Who you got, Fish? And give me a score.
I'm just kidding. Give me Georgia by 6. 27-21 is my prediction.
27-21 yep. Georgia. What do you think the key? Give me your key to victory for Georgia.
Defense. I mean, our offense it looks like, it appears to me that they're finding their groove, like you said earlier. You know, Bobo's in his bag. You know, he is calling. That second half was very, very beautiful. It was lots of fun to watch. That 8-9 minute drive, you know, towards the end there was just, I love those ugly drives, you know, and it was fun to watch. And that's the kind of football I'm used to seeing. That's the kind of football we got during our back-to-back championship runs. The fourth quarter, we were just leaning on the defense. Wearing them down, grinding them down, you know, taking their, you know, just sucking the will to win right out of them.
Right.
And you know, that's what we need to do. That's what we need more of. And I am fully confident in our defense. I don't care what you say. 2 weeks to prepare for somebody, the defense is automatic at a disadvantage, especially when we're looking at some of the best offensive minds in the SEC, if not the country.
Yeah.
Okay. And, Josh Heupel, great offensive mind. Tennessee comes out there, jumps on us. It's not Ryan Grubb, but who's the OC for Alabama this year?
Ryan Grubb.
Is it Ryan Grubb? Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, well, he's one of he is so a highly touted offensive coordinator. Hugh Freeze is a good offensive mind, despite his hilariousness that happens to him. It's hard to take him serious because of all the crap that we're Auburn fans are dealing with right now. But he is a good offensive mind.
Right.
Let's not forget what he did to Bama. He was one of the only coaches that had success against the Saban defense.
Yeah.
So, and our defense is not a mirror image, but it resembles those Saban defenses. Because that's when Kirby was there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Yeah, I'm gonna.
I don't know, man.
I'm obviously taking Georgia in this one. I think Ole Miss is going to score about 21 to 24 points. I think Georgia can score 31, maybe 34. Give me 34-24. Give me 10 points. Georgia, and I'm going to tell you the key for me is this. I think can we make Trinidad uncomfortable? Can we make him uncomfortable? I think one thing that reminds me of Trinidad and Stockton a little bit is, they both don't have these like electric, live physique arms. And I think if you can get Trinidad in positions where he's going to have to worry about how long he can look at some of these checks and reads and get him to be more focused in, I don't want to get sacked. I think that will get him out of the game. It will make them a little more one-dimensional. And I do think that making him uncomfortable will make Ole Miss uncomfortable, right? And obviously we know this. I don't think it's the key, but I think we know this. It's just a fact. Like, you got to make sure that Ole Miss can't be balanced and can't run and go fast. And that's stopping the run. But I do think the biggest thing is making Trinidad uncomfortable and making him play from behind. I think Georgia wins 34-24. So yeah, it's going to be a great game. I think it looks like weather's not going to be an issue. So looking forward to it, man. Well, hey, we've conjured up some things from Auburn. We have gone through keys and previewed Ole Miss. We picked every game. This is a big week in the SEC, man. Big week in the SEC. A lot of great games. It will be a full scale Saturday. So looking forward to it. But we're gonna get off, and we're gonna get to Saturday and let the pads talk. It's gonna be exciting. Fish, any last thoughts for this weekend?
Got too many. We need one in the bag just in case.
There you go.
And I think this is an extremely winnable game. So
I agree.
I don't want to wet the bed. I don't want to choke. Let's get out there and do it. Put them away early.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. All right, man. Well, for myself, thanks everyone for joining tonight on the Dogs Down South podcast. If you haven't already done so, go and follow us on all of our podcasting streaming websites. You see them up the top right corner. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. For myself, for Adam Fisher, and all the dog fans out there, you guys have a great week. Looking forward to Saturday. And as always, go Dogs.